Draw sponge buckle. This tutorial I'm just going to show you how you can use a very simple starting point of a pattern design to create some noise, and then via 3D models to create some really abstract designs. Now, first thing to do, just go over here. I've got a document, very small document, just going to create just a simple letter T, and that's going to be the whole starting point for the design. So it can of course be any character, it can be any design, it doesn't have to be particularly amazing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly go to layer style. I'm just going to give it a bit of colour as well, so colour overlay. So click OK. Now I'm going to remove the background so it's got transparency, and then edit and define pattern. Click OK. Now I'm going to go to a completely different document and then go to edit and fill. I'm going to select the pattern option and custom pattern. I'm just going to go for the T that I just created. I could go for the one that I created in earlier run throughs. Script and random fill. That's the key thing. Click OK. Now you get a quick image of a selection of T's in different angles because there's different scale factors applied. Now you can of course vary it in any number of ways, modify the density as well as rotate patterns, colour randomness, all set like that. Click OK. Now you can run that a number of times. Just quickly go edit and fill. Click, and it will just fill the document very quickly with a load of random text, which is great for creating sort of like a noise design. Now I'm going to edit, fill, just finish that off. Click OK. Now once I've got that, I'm going to do then, I'm just going to blur it slightly. So filter, blur. So I just want to create a sort of like a very noisy background. I don't want to see particularly the T, but that's why it doesn't really matter what particularly pattern you actually use. So now you've got that. Now there's available now some free plugins that are worth checking out, and they're I'm going to go down here, the Nick collection. You can find them on the Google website via Google, and find the Silver Efex Pro 2. So I'm just going to quickly go in there. The one thing I like about this, it's got a range of quite nice presets. Now of course you can modify it, you can tweak that, play around with the brightness, and straight away you can actually see you can create some very interesting noise designs very quickly. Now there's a whole range of, let's say, presets over here, so I'm going to just click through those and you can say one works better than another. So you've got that one, or maybe that one, you think, right, that's a lovely sort of very noisy design now. Click OK, and it will obviously just do a quick bit of processing, run through all the various things, and then you've got the design there. Now of course you don't have to use that, you could just basically use the blur with maybe some image adjustments over there and black and white to modify that and change that, or maybe use exposure. A number of ways to do it without those filters as well, but that's what I've got now, got this design. I'm going to flatten that, I don't want both of those, so go there. Now what you can do, just go to 3D, and straight away you find there's a problem. So at that point, I'm just going to quickly pause the recording, because what I want to do is restart Photoshop. But before I do that, I'm just going to save this document. So just quickly save as. It's a weird feature. For some weird reason, the 3D is suddenly lost with that. So I'm just going to save that at the point. Save, replace, and pause recording. Okay, I've restarted Photoshop at this point. I've closed it and restarted it. Now, because seems to be a weird feature there, for some weird reason the 3D suddenly loses all its menu items. Don't know why. Maybe on my version it's just my problem. Maybe on other machines it might be absolutely fine, and maybe you don't have to do that. But on mine seems to suddenly lose the options here. So what you can do then is, once you've got this image here, you can go to a new mesh from layer, and you go down here to depth map and plane. It takes a few seconds processing, obviously depending on the size of the document. Sometimes it's quite quick, sometimes it's not. This one's about 1000 by 1000, so shouldn't be too slow. And then you've got this design here. Now you can actually export that design as well. So you can, I'm going to zoom, bring that out a bit further, and you can see the design. You can also move that around. You can see you can create. Now there is a sort of extrusion feature within Photoshop. You can go to filter, and I'm going to go down to stylize, extrude, Now, it does a similar sort of thing, but obviously with pyramids and whatever. So it's a similar sort of feature. But now you've got this lovely sort of weird sort of landscape, which again, I say, can be saved to 3D and export 3D layer. So you can save to an OBJ file or something like that. But once you've actually got that, you can then, of course, move that around, change the lighting, that sort of thing. I'm not going to do that in this, but I'm just going to go to Filter and Layer and then Flatten Image. Then I'm going to go to Filter and my old favourite of Oil Paint, Stylize and Oil Paint. And you can create some very, very abstract designs just by doing this. And of course you can vary the angle and etc. using the 3D. Go back to it and obviously apply oil paint again and again, depending what angles of light you want to get. Now, once you've got that, you can apply it more than once. That's the one good thing with this filter oil paint. And you can then create that. Now, what you can also do then, you can actually go to Adjustments and maybe Hue and Saturation, set Colorize on and give that a bit of colour. And change that. You can go through a whole range of different colours, go for a nice sepia colour effect like that. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so see the design there. And then, of course, you can do other adjustments such as colour lookup, etc. to create some more interesting colour effects. Click OK. And there you have it. A nice way just from a very basic pattern all the way through to 3D model, and then use the 3D model to create some very weird, sort of distorted and unusual landscape sort of designs, very surreal designs. Obviously I've just gone for 1000 by 1000, but you could obviously with a 2000, 3000, etc. document create much more unusual backgrounds and layouts. Hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.